corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up.
Well, look who decided to call me. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah, it's a fight that goes on, never ending. Okay, good. Yeah, I am so happy that you're out there improving your life. You're really going to show people that there is a second chance and that people can be successful. And well, no, it is noticed. People pay attention to that kind of stuff. And when we look at the news, we'll see people escaping or people getting attacked or people getting out and then going back in, kind of like the revolving door. And there's debate about prison sentences. I think prison sentences should be shorter and more in tune with the crime. Others pretty much want long prison sentences and just to keep these people out, even though we're spending millions of dollars to keep them locked up and kind of skimping on the rehabilitation training and education and stuff that's going on in there. Okay, yeah, that is true. Families are big, and they're the ones that are most affected when someone gets out and becomes a victim of crime or suicide or falls off the wagon. And the really hard part is when the people get out and they really don't know where to go, where to turn to. And I've got a few people that are getting out of prison and they're reaching out. And one of the folks I work with is helping them. And I'm really proud of her. She's doing a fantastic job and she posts success stories and who she's worked with. And it's fun to do that. When a person gets out and they're doing well, to post a picture is great. It's great news. And with her doing this and me sharing her story with the others that are locked up, I'm getting referrals from people that will be getting out in a few months. Yeah, I know that the housing is tough, jobs. A lot of them been in for so long, the world itself has changed. And I really want to get those folks moving into the right direction. Okay, good. Yeah, I like to hear that kind of stuff because when you post something or when you write a letter or even a telephone call, that was kind of interesting, but that's the way the telephone system works around here. Yeah, we can we can definitely keep the conversation going,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
but we're out of time here. But as I was saying, it's an ongoing fight, and keeping people informed is what I want to do. I want to let folks know that you guys aren't the evil vixens that they make you out to be. Well, yeah, and a large part of that is up to you. You want people to, yeah. I mean,
You have 30 seconds remaining.
for one thing, you can't hide your crime. You it happened, but you're sitting in there and you're paying the price for it, and that's the way the system's set up, whether they like it or not. You commit a crime, you get convicted, you go to prison, then you get out, and that stuff is supposed to be put behind you, unless, of course, you continue to do the crimes or other crimes. Then you deserve it. Okay, well, thanks for the call, and keep up the good work. and we'll don't be a stranger. Contact me in the future. Very good.
Thank you for using Inmate Call. Goodbye.
Take a moment to explore our YouTube channel at AQ Society, where you'll discover captivating and deeply thought-provoking stories that shed light on the realities of life behind bars.
Hello, welcome to AQS Inmate Call, and I am your host, Joel Wilborn. And I recently received an email from my fiancée, and she was very upset about one of her friends she'd been in prison with and who had gotten out. She was concerned that this woman had died from an overdose. And of course, she was telling me about it and saying she's really tired of people dying like that and hearing those stories. And so I looked up this individual and found out that only part of the story was true. She had gotten out and gotten her life in order, and she was helping people, which is something I encourage a lot. I want people to reach out and share their experience with others and let these people know that the best way out of the situation they may find themselves in isn't necessarily committing crimes. So I'm reading over the articles and stuff on this person. Of course, they're talking about that she had died, and then they give a brief background. And they'd actually even interviewed her son. And she was hosting a girls' night out with some of the local women and girls, and got into an altercation with a guest who had come with another person. And this woman wound up, or shall I say it's a girl, she was a teenager, she wound up killing my fiance's friend. And that was a very sad moment, because she goes through all of this just to end like this terrible way. And it's really easy for us to accept somebody's death if the person goes to prison, gets out, and let's say gets involved in a domestic dispute and winds up getting killed. Because then we could say this person was causing problems and it was the comeuppance, got what was coming to him. But either way, a violent death is wrong. And it breaks my heart when people try to justify it. If she was ex-con, she deserved to die. She wasn't paying a lot of taxes because she was poor. She deserved to die. I don't know. A person dying a violent death is always wrong. I don't care how you look at it. And I know there's a lot of people who are violent criminals. They're gang members. They're drug smugglers. They rapists, child abusers. And when a person like that is murdered or locked up or just disappears, it's easy to feel no sorrow. And if we keep doing that, if we keep treating people like that, then where's the humanity? You know, you've got people that are trying to make a living out there and trying to get their life back in order. And then we as a society shoot them down. Because of your past, we won't let you grow, improve, learn, give back to the community. We won't allow that because we're always going to hold this past against you. Now, growing up in a Christian household, I'm taught about forgiveness. But when my Christian friends find out the type of work I'm doing, that I'm working with folks that are having issues and that have this past, then, you know, I'm the bad guy. I shouldn't work with these folks. But what if they succeed? What if they get out and become like Candace Bauman or Stephanie Ballweber? What if they make something of their life? And I like to promote that. I like to show folks that there is that possibility. I also like to promote the ones that fail, because not everybody's perfect. Not everything works out the way we want. And I'll often say it's not the mistakes we make, it's what we do about it. So if these people go to prison and they're classes, they stay out of trouble, I think we need to give them some kind of recognition, because after all, things like that, they don't need to win $1 million in a lottery or to get a trophy that comes with a huge payout, thousands of dollars or something. They don't need that to prove who they are. What they need is just a pat on the back, just to be told what you went through was terrible, and we're very glad that you overcame these obstacles, that your life is on the mend. So I want to push that. And that's why if you go to my Facebook page, American Quittance Society, or if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find stories of people who went through hardship. And it's kind of hard to meet somebody who hasn't had a bad thing happen in life. And the sad point is when these terrible things happen and the people wind up committing suicide or entering a life of crime or just plain giving up. You can hear stories on social media of family members who are forgotten. It's just they're so much of a burden. Maybe a an elderly person who is suffering from various illnesses, and the family just finds it too expensive or too troublesome to take care of the person, and the person winds up maybe homeless or just kind of locked in a room someplace, and we just kind of turn away. And so it's nice to see those stories where the people do fall like that, but they're cared for. And since the news is so popular with bad stuff, bad stuff, bad stuff, the good things get hidden. I miss the days where a dog rescuing its owner was common news, or a community coming together to move a car that had toppled over on top of the driver, or a lost child was able to be reunited with his family. That kind of stuff gives us encouragement. It's something we should thrive for. We should want to pay it forward. We should want to help people. But we're just kind of distancing ourselves. And I think social media is a big part of that, because we can sit in our living room and we can criticize people, we can compliment people, or we can post things that are kind of out of our character and remain pretty much anonymous. I think if we were face to face, we'd be less likely to say some of the things that you read in these comments or take the positions that we take while we're hiding behind our little computer screen. That's the kind of stuff that I want to emphasize. I want to show people that we can live together in peace and harmony. We can thrive toward a better life. And it's really not that hard to do. It's not like we have to go out of our way, spend thousands of dollars to get to that point. We can actually do it by listening to folks who are in situations like that, sharing our own experiences with people like that. And so when I see things that I think would make a good story, I'll get them out there. And hopefully somebody's going to look at it. It could be one person, could be 100 people, and cause them maybe to reach out to the folks that I'm talking to or share that story with somebody. It's nice when I post something on social media and it's shared, because I know somebody was touched by it and felt the need to share it with somebody else. And that one post could prevent a suicide or a kidnapping or a rape or even domestic violence. It could. That's not something I really want an accolade for. If somebody does feel inspired by it and contacts me, it motivates me. It's nice. But if a person reads something and then takes some more positive action than this person was planning, that's a win. I don't have to know about it. But that person saw a post, was inspired by the post, and moved to a more positive direction. There's a guaranteed failure if you don't do it. You got to get out there and try. There's times we want to post negative things to draw out an issue, but for the most part, we want to put a positive spin on it. And I was happy to get the truth that this woman did not die of an overdose, which is a terrible way to die. And in many cases, I heard that an overdose is an actual way of suicide, because the people just get to the point where they know their limit. They know how much fentanyl they can take before they die, and they just go one step above it. And so that kind of stuff we want to try to prevent. We don't want people giving up. And one reason that they would give up is if we don't pay attention to them, we don't notice anything that they've done, that we're constantly berating them, that we bring up their past, or that we just simply treat them as if they're less human. And just imagine a wild animal. Let's say you find a bird that was wounded. The bird maybe was attacked by a hawk and was struggling in the woods. Now, there's not much we can do to help a bird like that, but there's a lot of people who would reach out and try. And this is an animal. Birds aren't going to make that big of a difference to people like a neighbor would, but these people will take the time to try to help this bird. And then there's others that just kind of take advantage of it. I mean, in the wild, a wounded bird is perfect prey. That hawk could come back around and say, okay, the bird's down. I can get in for the kill and have a meal for the day. But we're not animals. And if we're willing to take care of a wounded wild animal, think of the good you could do by taking care of a homeless person. And I'm not saying take these people into your home, give these people money, find them a job. I'm just saying, listen, be there. And work to raise funds to get community resources to help these folks. It's not going to be 100% successful, but if you do nothing, it'd be a 100% failure. And I think that's what we need to get away from. So let's try to give good news to the people who are locked up. I hate sharing news that one of the people that was incarcerated with them died. I hate giving that news to people. I would much rather give news like Candace Bauman. When she went to the resources, she didn't like prison. She didn't like the way she was treated. But when she got out, her way of getting her revenge is to be successful and to help those who get out be successful. She's going for a master's degree. She's working around the clock to find resources and to assist people who are in prison and who are getting out of prison. And how does that not prevent crime? It does more good than bad. And that's what I want to promote to people. And so hopefully you'll be able to see these resources and you'll do something. The best person who can prevent crime and help people get off the streets and be more productive citizens is the person who stares back at you when you look in the mirror. There's a lot you can do, and it's really extremely simple. Well, thanks for tuning in, and have yourself a marvelous day. And make sure you go out and make beautiful memories for tomorrow.